liked the Tutsis and used them to keep control of the Hutus after the independence. So, when Rwanda became independent, violence flared up against the Tutsi and the Hutu took control. Further fighting and struggles for power between the groups continued. So, before Belgium was in control, what African people were in control? The Tutsis. They made an elite class, and the Tutsi ruled the Hutu. After independence, the Tutsi and the Hutu both took control. And so they're fighting between power of Rwanda. They want the power of Rwanda. Now, eventually this situation exploded into a horrible genocide. An attempt to destroy one type of people. So, let's see what happens. During a few months in 1994, the Hutu military and militia groups killed an estimated 800,000 to 1 million Tutsis. So, as you can see, 800,000 to 1 million people killed. You can see how they're trying to wipe out the Tutsis. The UN or the United Nations, the UN/United Nations sent French, Canadian, and other troops to Rwanda to stop this. However, they were not effective. The murders stopped when the Tutsi once again came to power. Millions of Hutus fled the country to neighboring Zaire, which is now called the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Fighting between the two groups continues in this country today. Many people around the country regret that foreign countries could not or did not do more to go into these country of Rwanda to help stop it. Kofi Annan, a former Secretary General of the UN and a high UN official during the genocide, believes more should have done to stop it. Okay, reading check in this section here. How did colonization lead to conflicts in Southeast Africa? Okay, so that wraps up here conflict in Southern and Eastern Africa today. Now let's move into governing this region. So, who's in charge of this region here? Southern and Eastern African countries have many different forms of government. Some are democratic, while others are ruled by dictators. Democracy. Let's talk about this democracy for a second. Today, one of the most democratic governments in this region is South Africa. See it on the map right here? South Africa. Since the end of the apartheid/segregation, fair and free elections have produced a stable government. Citizens participate in their government and can freely join volunteer organizations. Wasn't like that in the past, right? But the new multiracial democracy has experienced growing pains as it tries to integrate or bring together and improve South African society. The lingering legacy of the segregation or the apartheid is still that black South Africans are still on average much poorer than the white South Africans. Inequalities remain in areas such as healthcare, unemployment, education, and land ownership. So, there's a discrepancy here between the white South Africans and the black South Africans in terms of money. Checking the time here, still got about 9 minutes to wrap this up before second hour class comes in. Let's give a shout out here to the Jack of Clubs, the Four of Hearts, the Ace of Spades, the Three of Clubs, and let's give a shout out to second hour, third hour, fourth hour, fifth hour, and 6th hour. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this here. So, got my new shades on. Hopefully that helps you pay a little bit of attention here. Now, let's talk about the dictatorship in this region. Dictatorship, a type of government. Democracy, type of government. All right. Unlike South Africa, different from South Africa, Sudan is a dictatorship. Through the country called itself a even though the country calls itself a republic, President Omar al-Bashir rules by force. Not the force like Darth Vader. Shh, shh, shh. Can you see back there? I'm moving the pictures. Can you see them moving? Right here? Okay. So, people cannot participate in government or choose their leader. So think about that. You cannot choose your leader. Your leader is chosen for you. Okay. So, Zimbabwe has also been a dictatorship. A single political party has held on to power for more than 28 years. So that means like Republican or Democratic, let's just say, for simplicity purposes, a Democrat has been in power for more than 28 years. Okay, so one party. Even though there is a constitution, the president of Zimbabwe has ruled like a dictator. Corruption has become common. Failed policies have led to economic collapse. Millions of people from Zimbabwe have moved to South Africa. So let's wrap up this section here. What is a major social problem in South Africa after the segregation or /apartheid? Okay, let's do a couple questions here. Which ethnic group was responsible for the Rwandan genocide? The Hutu were responsible for the Rwandan genocide. Second part of this question, how did the genocide end? It ended when the Tutsis took power again. All right, governing this region. A couple questions here. What is the role of citizens in South Africa? They participate in government and freely join organizations. Summarize question here. Describe the status of blacks and whites in South Africa today. Describe the status of black South Africans are still poorer than white South Africans, with less access to health care and education, higher rates of unemployment, and lower rates of land ownership. Here we go. Another question here when it comes to governing this region. What type of government rules Sudan? Democratic? Dictatorship? Dictatorship. All right. So, now, we're going to wrap up. About to end the video here. Thanks for listening. Hopefully, you were entertained. Are you not entertained from the video? So, we're about halfway done in section 3. And so we'll finish section 3 tomorrow. You know what comes after section 3. We have section 1, section 2, section 3. Then we're going to have a section 1, 2, 3 test over Southeast Africa. We'll do a Kahoot. We'll do a Quizlet. And I'll do one of these goofy videos for you kids for your review. Make it a great day, and we'll see you next time.